Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good one. Today we're tying a variation on a Flashback Pheasant Tail. I say variation simply because we're using golden pheasant tippets for the tail on it. Just give it a bit of a different look. It gives you the opportunity to throw something they might not have seen, or a fish might not have seen before, and might get that bite. I like golden pheasant because it gives that sort of browny orangey, well, it's very orangey colour with the black tips on it. Pheasant tail again for the body, and 0.1mm copper wire from Semperfli. We've then got some flat mirage tinsel in 1.5mm from Semperfli as well, and peacock herl. Thread I'll be using Semperfli Nano silk in brown, it's a 30 denier, and the hook that I'm filming with is a Kamsan B175 size 12. You can tie smaller, bigger, as always. Do what fits your needs. But if I turn it a little bit, hopefully you'll just see that flash there as well. Anyway, we'll crack into it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a handy pattern for you. Cheers. Alright, start off with, again we're using Semperfli Nano silk in 30 denier, and we're tying on a Kamsan B175. Take your pick. You can put some lead wire in here, or a bead head if you want. It's going to fit work well as well. And the other thing as well is I'm using those golden pheasant tippets, but if you want, pretty much follow the same method, and you can just tie it more traditionally with some pheasant tails. It's just using golden pheasant instead of the regular pheasant, and we'll just snip away the tag end. Right, golden pheasant. There you go, like I said, it's quite orange in colour. You can either buy packs of these feathers, which are quite handy, or you can get a whole lot of them on the head there. Old mate's seen better days, but serving a purpose. You get all the crest feathers in as well, which are great if you're interested in dabbling in the old sort of salmon fly patterns as well. Hopefully do a video for one of them one day, but still a process in learning. But with these feathers, don't rip them away from the stem like you would another one, or another type of feather. You want to snip them to keep everything all in line. For the tail, we're only going to use about 4 fibres. So you're just going to cut it away. You can see where I've done it there, rather than just pull it off. That way, as you can see there, all the little black dots are in line. Depending on the size of the feather, we might be lucky and get it. I think we're just tying just in on the black dot there, or barring in the middle of it, and just secure it in place. Something to remember when you're securing the tails in: don't tighten it as you come around. That's going to pull everything over. If you tighten it as you pull it up, it's going to keep everything on top. Right. Like I said, we'll snip away our tag ends and we'll move on to the body. Right. Next up, we're going to tie in our ribbing using 0.1mm copper wire from Semperfli. Now, the range of colours you can get in those wires is amazing as well. Allows you to really play with patterns. If you want to get some flashier colours through there to catch the eye, or if you want to be subtle, they really do allow you to have world's your oyster kind of thing. Cool, and just get that tied in and just get it out of the way. Right, time for the body. Just using a pheasant tail. I'm going to take 3 or 4 fibres from that. You can pull them away, or I've always just snipped them away. And from there, we're going to tie them in. Oops. Just get them secured in. Right, next up we're going to wrap the body. So take the pheasant tail fibres. I like to use the old hackle pliers, which I've mentioned in a few videos for this sort of stuff. I just find it easier to control things, and big old fingers don't get in the way. And we'll just wrap that around the body. And generally I go around about halfway Just gives me enough room for the rest of the fly. And if you wrap the opposite way to how you've been wrapping your thread, it just makes it a little bit easier to tie it in. And then snip those away. I'll just do it in one thing here, but one shot. But then we're going to counter wrap our wire, which is going to strengthen the pheasant tail. Just helps secure it all in. You know, sooner or later the fish are going to chew these up, hopefully, if you're catching enough of them, and just makes it hold together a bit longer. Whereas you'll find if you don't have the ribbing, it'll probably disintegrate on you and get chewed up quite a lot quicker. Okay, 0.1mm, snaps off, it's great. Alright, next up we're putting the legs in, which is some pheasant tail fibres. Usually I'll go with 6 or 8 of them. I mean the fish aren't counting, but give or take. You want it sticking out enough that when you tie them back, they're going to be about halfway back down the hook shank. So just probably just pry it halfway, maybe a third back kind of thing. Now if you're just doing a regular pheasant tail, leave that there, you'll end up folding it forward as a wingcase. But we're not, we're doing the old flashback, so see you later. I'm going to take a brief moment just to talk about proportions. Like for me, for a pheasant tail of any sort, I divide it up into 3. So the total length, including the tail, the very tip, the tail about a third, body about a third, and the head about a third as well. Just something to think about when you're tying them. There's some people who probably disagree, but that's how I like them. I think they look pretty good. Right, next up is our flash material. I'm using a spooled mirage tinsel, or flat mirage tinsel from the team at Semperfli. So it's got some nice little shine in there, or flash if you will, and we just want to tie that so it ends up on top of the hook. And it's going to wrap a little. It's 1.5mm. You could do it thinner if you really wanted to, but I found this size to really work. You just want to wrap it so that when you fold it back it's nice and flush with the body, the pheasant tail. I keep crushing that little tail there a bit. And move on to the pheasant, the peacock, sorry. Right, peacock. This is just a pre-packed package of peacock herl, strung herl. Tied them by the tip. Let's get it nice and secured in. And the ends of these are quite brittle, so usually you can just snap them away, much like the wire. And then we're just going to build up that body. And again, I'm just using that thread as a bit of a guide. And we're just going to bring it forward. Shouldn't take too much. Until we're just behind our legs there. And just secure that in. And we're almost there. Now just going to snip away that herl. There we go. Right, next part gets a little bit tricky. And I'll try to explain it best I can. Now the way I've found easiest to get the legs to splay out on either side is just get your fingernail in underneath there and push it back. From there you just want to try to split it. So it's about even. If you can, or as even as you can get it. Sometimes they have a mind of their own. Again, maybe if you're tying for demonstration purposes or display purposes, you've got to be a bit more careful about it, but end of the day, this is a fishing fly. I'm not overly worried. From there, while holding them back, we're going to try to do a little pinch wrap here. We are rapidly running out of room with the hook eye, but found once I get that first one on, I can then just grab this, pull it back into the middle, and secure it all in. Just bring that back in focus there, sorry. There you go. And just secure it in. I found if you put 1 or 2 wraps underneath, it's going to get the flash sticking up. You can snip it away. From there, we'll just tidy up this head a bit. If you're of an inclination, you can always put a little bit of the old UV resin over the top of it. But for me, last step, we're just going to whip finish it. Get it nice and secure. A couple of whip finishes usually do it, but you can put some head cement on there as well if you want. Right, there we have it. Flashback Pheasant Tail. Now with that little golden pheasant twist to it. Again, golden pheasant for the tail, but you could use normal pheasant tail if you really want to. I just like using this on some of them just to get a bit of something different. If they're not liking what I'm giving them, a little bit of colour change, a little difference in it can sometimes make all the difference. Pheasant tail for the body and the legs there. A little bit of the Semperfli flat mirage tinsel along the top. This was in 1.5mm. Peacock herl, 0.1mm Semperfli copper wire, and the old Kamsan B175. Again, you can tie them bigger or smaller, but do what works for you. But there we have it, the old Flashback Pheasant Tail with a bit of a golden pheasant twist. I hope it's a handy pattern for you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy tying. See you next time. Cheers.